Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving straight into the fascinating mind of a 17th century revolutionary thinker. We're going to discover how his grand, world-shifting scientific theories perfectly map onto something we all love to do, which is the very practical act of taking a trip. Now, to really understand this man's relentless dedication to observing the world, a dedication so intense it literally killed him. Back in 1626, he caught a fatal case of pneumonia while experimenting with preserving meat by stuffing it with freezing snow. That is absolute commitment to the experiment, right? Anyway, to understand him, we first have to look at his underlying philosophy. He lived by the idea that reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Constant learning and pinpoint precision, they were just the absolute core of his being. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. Father of the scientific method, 2. Breaking the mind's idols, 3. Master of the English essay, 4. The art of meaningful travel, 5. Immersion and returning home, and finally, 6. A legacy of observation. Let's get right into it. Section 1. Father of the scientific method. A new way to see the world. We start our journey with Bacon the scientist. This was a man who fundamentally believed knowledge shouldn't just be blindly handed down through ancient texts, it should be built directly from the ground up, rather than relying on abstract dogma. Born in London in 1561 into a well-connected family, Francis Bacon became this towering figure who completely rewired how we pursue knowledge. He championed empiricism. And if you need a quick refresher, empiricism is the bold idea that true knowledge comes directly from our sensory experience and our careful, deliberate observation of the natural world. He didn't want people just sitting in their armchairs thinking about how the world worked. He wanted them out there, physically looking at it. And this brilliantly illustrates his revolutionary concept of inductive reasoning. You see, instead of the classical deductive method, where you start with a grand theory and then go looking for things to confirm it, Bacon flipped the script. In his method, a scientist derives grand general laws only after meticulously collecting and analyzing specific, real-world data points over a long period of time. It's observation first, pattern second, theory last. It was, quite literally, a total game changer. Section 2. Breaking the mind's idols. Clearing the path to truth. But here's the catch. Before you can observe the world clearly and collect that pristine data, Bacon argued you've got to clean the lens of your own mind first. In his landmark 1620 work, Novum Organum, he identified these cognitive biases that constantly trip us up. He vividly called them the idols of the mind, breaking them down into 4 categories. You have the tribe, which are our universal human blind spots. The cave, our individual biases based on our unique upbringing. The marketplace, which involves the sheer confusion and misuse of language. And the theater, the dogmatic philosophies and false systems we just blindly accept. Bacon warned that these are false concepts and prejudices that actively hinder the pursuit of true knowledge. Basically, you have to smash the idols before you can see reality. Section 3. Master of the English essay. Witty, concise, practical. Now, what's really fascinating is that Bacon didn't just write dense, impenetrable scientific texts. He was actually a phenomenal communicator, widely considered the first major essayist in the English language. He used this famously concise, witty, and aphoristic writing style to explore human nature and society, writing on everything from friendship to truth, even revenge. Bacon deeply believed in a symbiotic relationship between art and science. By blending those two together in his highly readable essays, he was able to help disseminate his profound philosophical discoveries to the broader public, which ultimately fueled real societal progress. Section 4. The art of meaningful travel. The scientific method applied to tourism. So how exactly does the father of modern observation, the pioneer of the scientific method, go on vacation? Well, let's take all that grand theory we just talked about and apply it to a road trip. In his magnificent essay Of Travel, Bacon essentially approaches tourism as the ultimate empirical exercise. He argues that the biggest advantage of travel is the education one receives. For the young traveler, roaming unknown places acts as a vital informal school. It accelerates learning and builds awareness incredibly fast, because every new sight and sound is a fresh data point for the mind to process. This builds into 2 totally distinct travel styles. First, you have the blind traveler, the person who goes totally unguided, observes nothing but the blue water on a sea voyage, and effectively learns nothing. Bacon contrasts this with his absolute ideal, the empirical traveler. This traveler knows that preparation is key. They study the language, they do their research, and crucially, they hire an experienced local tutor or guide who knows exactly what is worth seeing. You don't just wander aimlessly, you go in with a research plan. To collect this data effectively, Bacon absolutely insists on maintaining a detailed travel diary. And he gives us this rapid-fire checklist of essential observations. You need to see the courts of princes, the way justice is handled, the ancient ruins, the churches, and the colleges to see exactly how lectures are delivered. He advises using guidebooks to navigate local routes efficiently. Oh, and he actively warns against overstaying in any single part of a city. Keep moving, keep changing your vantage point, and maximize your exposure to fresh data. Section 5. Immersion and returning home. The data collection phase. The absolute core of Bacon's travel philosophy is total immersion. He wants you breaking completely out of what we would call today the tourist bubble. In fact, he strictly warns travelers against clinging to their fellow countrymen while abroad. Think about it. If you just hang out with the people you came with, you learn nothing new. He urges travelers to isolate themselves from familiar comforts, engage with local officials, seek out diverse sections of a city, and truly savor the absolute uniqueness of the new culture. It is all about being deeply present in the foreign environment. And when that grand data collection trip is finally done and you head home, Bacon lays out 3 final steps to ensure that education actually sticks. First, preserve your connections. Write letters to the locals and ambassadors who helped you out. Second, reflect your new wisdom through disciplined, well-mannered behavior, rather than bragging or exaggerating your stories. Let your growth show in your character. And third, don't forget your own native roots, but seamlessly integrate the very best foreign customs you've observed into your own daily life. Section 6. A legacy of observation. From Novum Organum to pop culture. It's honestly wild to see how well the validity of Bacon's advice has aged. Whether you're tracking empirical data in a high-tech lab today or sketching in a travel journal on a train through Europe, his core principles of careful observation and preparation have remained entirely intact and relevant for over 5 centuries. His cultural footprint is so unbelievably massive that he's not only the foundational bedrock of the scientific revolution, but he lives on in enduring internet memes, like that classic mix-up of whether the phrase is Francis Bacon or Francis Bacon. It just goes to show, when your ideas fundamentally shift how humanity thinks, your name, in whatever form, never really fades away. As we wrap up this explainer on Bacon's immense intellectual and practical legacy, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to consider before you boot up your computer to book your next flight. Next time you step out your front door to travel the world, will you just be a tourist, comfortably trapped in your own bubble? Or will you be an empiricist, ready to deeply observe, learn, and let the world truly change you?